Hi everyone. So this week we're reading science fiction books. That means books that are based on science, just like science you do in your classroom. So this is one of the books we'll be reading. It's called Blast Off. So I'm going to start reading now. So this is about the story. Some children know what they might want to be when they grow up, but Sandy is more certain. She's a very intelligent girl with a specific dream. She wants to fly rockets and a chest of drawers into space. So let's read. So there are some children who know what they might want to be when they are older. Some want to make art and draw pictures. Some want to be police officers or go into the military. Some want to be doctors or surgeons. But Sandy is different. She's a very intelligent girl who's certain of what she wants to be. Sandy loves science and she dreams of firing rockets into space. She also dreams of being the first person to somehow put a chest of drawers into space too, complete with a goldfish. Sandy used to dream of being on top of the moon. That was before she realized the moon was gigantic, being roughly 1/4 of the size of the Earth. Almost a good portion of the size of Earth is what the moon is. And that was before she realized she could not survive in space wearing only a goldfish bowl. What do you wear when you're in space? You need to wear the proper clothes when you're in space. So she realized that in space, she couldn't survive just wearing a goldfish bowl like this one she has on her head, and that she would have to wear a protective spacesuit. Still, the flaws in her logic led her to believe more and over time, Sandy understood the science behind space travel. So she kept on doing research to understand what she needed to do to go to space, right? So she designed a rocket to go into space. During the calculations, she knew that the force of acceleration means moving, the force of acceleration had to be greater than the force of gravity for her rocket to make it to space. Do you know what gravity is? Gravity is the reason why when you jump up, you will always fall down. It's that thing that keeps you down. Acceleration is the opposite. Acceleration keeps you going up, right? So acceleration, that thing that keeps you going up, has to be more than that thing that keeps you coming down for you to be able to fly into space. If not, your spaceship will just fall down and explode. So very soon, Sandy had built her own rocket, and that's the beautiful rocket she's building there. As she explained to the dog, the rocket was a shell made out of a basket base, spoilers for fins from a car. So she made it from scrap. She made it from metal trash can. She painted a yellow star on the blue background. This is the yellow star. It's lightweight, so it can travel fast. So her rocket is not heavy, so it can travel fast. Sandy said to the dog, or it will blow up. If it's too heavy, it will blow up. So Sandy did her calculations. Calculations means doing her mathematics to be able to calculate what she needs to put in her rocket. And she discovered a serious problem. The rocket she had built, it was far too small to even get off the ground. Oh. Let's test it anyway, Sandy thought. And one day, she invited her friends to witness her rocket tests. Sandy dragged the rocket on a trailer. The rocket was so light that it bounced all of the way to the launch pad. So your rocket doesn't have to be too light or too heavy. If it's too light, it's just going to fall down flat. If it's too heavy, it won't be able to fly. So you just need to get the right rockets by doing the right calculations. And that's why you study science, and that's why you study math in school. Okay? Wow, it's so impressive, her friend said, and they cheered at the rocket. Sandy performed the countdown. T minus sugar to lift off. 3, 2, 1, poof! A little bit of air escaped from the rocket and it fell over. Oh, the rocket fell. A successful test, Sandy declared. Her friends gave her a round of applause. They all clapped for her. So it needs to be bigger, she thought, because she thought, what happened? What went wrong? Why didn't the rocket fly as it was designed to? So she started thinking, maybe this rocket needs to be bigger. Bigger than my house? Sandy realized she had torn off the roof of her house, her building, when she had torn off the roof when she was building a new rocket. So she's building a new one. She wanted to build a bigger one to see if the bigger one was going to fly well. And then she tore off the roof in her house while she was building the bigger one. And then the rocket stuck out of her house like a giant metal lipstick. Can you see the rockets? I guess this will have to be the launch pad, she said to herself, seeing the living room carpet. The day of the launch finally arrived. So she's going to try again. Remember that the first one failed. Blast off! Everyone cheered as Sandy's rocket lifted off and soared through the clouds on its way to space. Sandy was inside the rocket and she couldn't believe her eyes, so she listened to her ears instead. She was so surprised. She heard the sound of a gigantic rocket screaming into the sky until she arrived in space, where there was only silence and she floated around inside the rocket. It was so quiet there because there was nobody there, just Sandy and her rocket. During the next launch, Sandy's friends cheered again as another little rocket blasted off into space. So while the rocket was taking off, her friends were cheering, go Sandy, you can do it. Go Sandy, you can do it. There was not one, not two, but 3 rockets that Sandy had designed. Oh, wow, this is fantastic. And they all met each other in space, forming a trio of rockets known as Cheese, Man, and Cow. 3 rockets, and they all met together in space. Sandy made a broadcast back to Earth. So she came back to Earth. She said, following the success of my launch, I shall return to Earth, which is where we are. But before, I will be the first human to try and breathe in space. So she took off her goldfish bowl helmet. Remember that she had a goldfish bowl helmet. And a few seconds later, she put it back on. I cannot hold my breath anymore. So you need to have that helmet when you are in space for you to be able to breathe. You can't hold your breath for too long. From the 3 rockets, Sandy removed the contents they were carrying and she assembled them together, means she put them together. And I present to you the first goldfish and chest of drawers complete with socks ever put in space, she said. And next, I plan to build the most expensive house in space. Its value will be astronomical. Astronomical means it will be big, it will be very big. So remember that she wanted to build a chest of drawers in space when we were reading this the first time, complete with a bowl of goldfish. And she was able to achieve that dream by building a rocket that could finally fly. And she was able to take the chest of drawers, and these are the chest of drawers, these are drawers, and her goldfish bowl to space. So I hope we've learned something from Sandy about working hard and not giving up. Because when the rocket failed the first time, what did she do? She went back, did her calculations again, and made an even bigger and better rocket. So, have you learned something about space by reading this story? Thank you for listening to the story, and see you in Google Classroom, where we're going to review this book and do other activities related to science. Thank you for listening. The end.